everyone, welcome back. We are making beef noodle soup. If you recall, in one of my recent videos, we made Italian pot roast, but I used half of my chuck roast and cooked it for the soup. So we want to get a heavy stock pot and add maybe about a little drizzle of some olive oil, about 1 to 2 tablespoons. We're going to heat this up on low. Now, when you're cooking with enameled cast iron, it retains the heat and it heats up very quickly. So you don't need to really use high heat when you're cooking with enameled cast iron. So while this is heating up, I'm going to cut up about 4 to 5 medium carrots, 2 large stalks of celery, half of an onion, and we're going to add that to the pot and cook them until they get nice and sweaty. Okay, my olive oil is now nice and hot. I'm going to add my Trinity, which is basically the foundation of most soups, stews: celery, carrot, and onion, roughly chopped up. And we're gonna let these sweat. And while these are cooking, I'm actually gonna add my spices. We're adding some thyme, rosemary, seasoned salt, and by warming the herbs, it brings out the natural flavors and the oils. You know, we're building flavor with the soup, so I'm just gonna let these gently cook until they get nice and sweaty and start getting tender. But we're going to add our seasoning now. When you're using dried herbs, what I always do is I pour about a teaspoon at a time into the palm of my hand, and then I rub the spices between my hands into the pot. You're releasing the natural oils and flavor from the dried herbs. So I'm going to start with a teaspoon of thyme, a teaspoon of rosemary, and a good teaspoon of seasoning salt. And we're going to add that to the vegetables and let everything hang out together in the pot. Okay, so I used 2 teaspoons of the dried thyme, a teaspoon of dried rosemary, and about a teaspoon of seasoning salt. We're going to stir this up, and when it starts getting fragrant, we'll add our next ingredients. I'm just gently cooking this over medium heat. Again, I'm using a heavy enameled cast iron pot, so they do heat up very quickly and they do retain the heat. So you don't want to go crazy. You don't want your veggies and spices to burn. You want them just to simmer, hang out, get a little bit sweaty. And when they start to soften up, we're going to add a pound of our shredded cooked chuck roast to this and let that get nice and warm. Remember to occasionally stir this. You don't want anything sticking to the bottom of your pot. You don't want anything getting burnt. Remember, we're sauteing, we're not frying, okay? We just want to bring out the beautiful colors and the veggies. We want it to, start to get a little bit tender because this is going to keep cooking once we add our beef stock. But we just want to, bring out the flavor in the spices, bring out the natural flavors in the vegetables. Okay, I've added my beef. Again, this is a pound of slow-cooked chuck roast that I made the other day. I already shredded it up. I'm going to mix this in with my veggies, let it get a little warm because it's right out of the refrigerator. And then we're going to add the rest of our ingredients. Okay, I'm going to add a teaspoon of fresh minced garlic. We're going to give it a stir, let it cook just a little bit, maybe for 2 or 3 minutes. You don't want to burn the garlic. It will make the soup bitter. But we want to bring out the flavor of the garlic, and then we're going to add 2 quarts of unsalted organic beef stock. Okay? Okay, I've added my garlic. I'm just going to give this a nice stir here in the pot. Mix it up really good with the veggies and the beef. Oh my God, you guys, I wish we had smell-o-vision. This smells so good. Yum, yum. You want to use your nose here when you start smelling that garlic. It should smell toasty and nutty. That's when you add your beef stock. Okay, I've added my 2 quarts of beef stock and 2 bay leaves. Now, when the soup is done, you're going to remove the bay leaves. They're inedible, but they do add a beautiful scent and flavor to soup recipes. Never without bay leaves. Also, from a spiritual standpoint, bay leaves are very, very protective. You can actually burn bay leaves like you would sage to protect your spiritual energy. So just a little kitchen witch tip there for you. So we're going to put this on, we're going to bring it up to a boil, and then we're going to hold it at a simmer for about an hour. So right now I'm just bringing this up to heat. Again, I'm using medium heat because I am using a enameled cast iron pot here, and they do get hot quickly and they do retain their heat. So we're going to leave this cook here. We are going French today. All right, and I'm actually going to cover this. It'll help bring it up to a boil a little bit quicker. And I'll come on back once we have this up to a boil and we transition to a simmer. Okay, our soup sounds like it's boiling. Yes, it is. And let me give it another stir. We're going to turn the heat down to low and let this simmer for about an hour. This looks lovely. It smells really good. Just give this a nice stir. All right, and we're going to turn the heat down to low and let this simmer with the lid on. And I'm going to set the timer for about an hour. Oh, I hate this stove. I need to get just an old-fashioned kitchen timer. All right. All right, so this is set to low, it's simmering, and I'll come down and check on it, give it a stir, you know, and once this is fully cooked, then we're going to add our noodles about the last 5 minutes of cooking. Okay, it's been an hour and my soup is pretty much done. We're going to add the noodles next. Now, at this point, before you add the noodles, you want to taste the soup. It might need a little bit more salt. I found that in my case, because I'm using unsalted stock, and I didn't put that much seasoning salt in with the vegetables when I was sauteing those, I did end up having to add 2 teaspoons of iodized sea salt. You can add a little bit more. It's best just to add it gradually because, you know, once you've added too much salt, your soup is ruined. So just, you know, taste and season to your liking. I found that I did not need to add anything else besides the additional 2 teaspoons of sea salt. So now we're going to add 8 ounces of egg noodles. I am using some old-fashioned Polish Kluski egg noodles. I'm going to put in 8 ounces of those and then cook the soup another 5 minutes. Okay, our soup is done. It's ready to serve. The noodles have fully cooked. It did take almost 8 minutes for my noodles to cook. So, normally you add the noodles, 5 minutes before it's done. Let them cook, but it depends on the noodle that you're using. Some noodles cook faster than others. I'm using a traditional Polish Kluski egg noodle. They're a little bit chewier and thicker in texture. But we're going to put some of this into the bowl. I've already taken out the bay leaves that I put in at the beginning. The soup smells amazing. Now, if you wanted to get extra fancy, you could certainly add maybe a quarter cup of vermouth towards the end, or a quarter cup of drinkable red wine. But this just smells lovely. The broth is just super rich. This is perfect for a cold winter's day. Look at this beautiful soup. I can't wait to dig in. You can serve this with a salad. You could serve it with some crusty sourdough bread slathered with some real yummy butter. Check out this recipe, try it out. Let me know if you make it. Let me know what you think. Comment down below. Thanks so much for watching. And until next time, be the love, be the light. Take care. Bye-bye.